the fella in
Soul, baby. In the wheelchair. Soul.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, man. Let's go get him.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to see and test drive the all-new LTD and Mustang. Easy-tasting Budweiser, the king of beers. When you say Budweiser, you've said it all. And by Sears Tire and Auto Center, home of straight talk, good values, and satisfaction.
From Candlestick Park in San Francisco, CBS presents the Atlanta Falcons versus the San Francisco 49ers. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with George Allen and Jim Brown, and welcome to Candlestick Park. The 49ers 1-6 and a reborn Falcon Ball Club 3-4. George, the Falcons are favored. What about the 49ers? Would there be some kind of a home field advantage?
Well, Vinny, there's a lot of talk about a home field advantage. I always used to stress with my ball club that the only advantage you have at home is if you play well. If you don't play well at home, it's a disadvantage. You'd be better off to play on the road, because if you play poorly at home, your own fans will boo you.
And, of course, the question of just how many fans would even be here to boo, they're talking about 30,000 or less, so the heat is on in the Bay Area. Talking about the heat is on the juice. O.J. Simpson is 31 years old. He's been playing rough NFL football for 10 years. He has not scored a rushing touchdown in 14 consecutive games going back to 1976, and he's been banged up. Jim, he's wealthy. Is he a fat cat, and has he come to the end of the road?
Well, Vinny, you never sell the juice short. He's only been one block away from breaking the big one. One thing I would like to point out to all of our viewers is that injuries, you can never underestimate them. The juice has a knee injury. Yes.
You played with a bad, severe wrist injury. What did that do? Does it undermine your playing?
Yes, it does, because if you're a great back, you're just that far away from just being a good back. So injuries are very important. But one thing I would like to point out, the Juice is now 31 years old. He's been playing for about 10 seasons. People are starting to compare him to himself. Whenever you're getting compared to yourself, you better think about retiring. So we're going to take it right back to you, Vinny.
Okay, Jim and George, and down on the field right now, San Francisco won the toss. They elected to receive. So Atlanta in the visiting white. And the 49ers 1-6. San Francisco trying to win before the home folks. And the Atlanta Falcons, whom we saw knock off Detroit 14-0 and limit them to only 22 yards rushing last week. In fact, they allowed only 4 yards rushing in the second half. So the heat will be on the 49ers indeed. Tim Mazzetti, number 4, will be kicking off for San Francisco. Deep, Dave Williams and Paul Hofer. Williams, number 30, figures to handle it. And it'll be hooked right down to Williams on the goal line. So Williams to the 10, to the 20. Billy Rickman hits him, and Rickman brings him down as he crosses the 30-yard line. Rickman, normally on offense, making a pretty good tackle to slow Williams down. So we'll take a look now at San Francisco as Steve DeBerg, who comes in with 16 interceptions and 8 sacks. He is number 17, a second-year man out of San Jose State. He was originally drafted by Dallas, and a lot of pressure on him, and we look forward to see Atlanta put heat on him immediately. Freddie Solomon goes wide left. Paul Seal, a tight end on the right side. Ken McAfee on the left side. Greg Boykin behind a block by O.J. Simpson is going to be slowed down and dragged down. Fulton Kuykendall hit him behind, which reminds me, Jim Brown, we saw O.J. Simpson blocking for Greg Boykin.
Yes, this is what we call a position block. He didn't leave his feet. If you can see him there, it's a little difficult to see, but he maintained his position. Now, looking from the end zone, we should be able to see it. We watched the Juice maintain his position to the outside. Couldn't sustain it long enough to make it successful, but it was a very good try.
All right, 2nd and 10 from the San Francisco 29-yard line. Solomon goes wide on the right side, and they still have 2 tight ends, Paul Seal and Ken McAfee. DeBerg to Solomon. Solomon grabbed by Frank Reed, who spun him around and took him down. Reed, playing with a sore hamstring, still made the hit.
Well, I like what the 49ers are doing on offense. They have 2 tight ends, and that will give the young quarterback some protection. It also controls the dogs. The red dogs, the blitzes that you use are curtailed to some extent when you have 2 tight ends. I think it's a real smart offensive move at this stage of the game to have 2 tight ends.
3rd and 4 from the San Francisco 34-yard line. Solomon goes left. Seal is the tight end on the right side. McAfee goes left. DeBerg on a 3rd and 4 going out, and it's broken up by Rich Bias. The pass intended for Freddie Solomon. Solomon, number 88, coming over here in a deal that sent Delvin Williams to Miami. In fact, it was a big trade. They got Solomon, safety Vern Roberson, and 2 draft choices, which turned out to be middle linebacker Dan Buns and safety Bruce Threadgill.
Atlanta was defensing Solomon on that play, and it was almost picked off.
A rookie out of Cincinnati, Mike Connell, who had to replace Tom Whittam. Whittam suffered a fractured leg in an auto accident in June. So Connell will be kicking, and standing deep is Billy Rickman on his own 25. Rickman at the 24 to the 30. And a fumble on the play, and San Francisco has recovered. Paul Hofer, number 36, fell on the loose ball.
Vinny, more good breaks come out of the kicking game than any other phase of football. Here's a fine punt, good coverage. Rickman did not put the ball away, went for the arm, went for the elbow, forced a fumble.
So Paul Hofer, number 36, making their recovery. A 3-year man out of Mississippi. Big break for the 49ers now. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 35-yard line. DeBerg looking left and lobbing deep. Solomon has it, and he goes out of bounds at the 14-yard line of Atlanta. Rick Bias driving him out.
Well, Atlanta is still defensing Solomon, or rotating to his side, but what he did is he split the defense. The front man did not jam him, did not hold him up, and DeBerg threw a perfect strike in there. Nice execution by Solomon and DeBerg.
So San Francisco, capitalizing on a fumble by Billy Rickman, has moved the ball 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 14. They just picked up 21 yards on that pass play. O.J. Simpson and Greg Boykin, the running back. And it's O.J., and he's going wide. O.J. to the 5. O.J. touchdown. First rushing touchdown for O.J. Simpson since 1976.
All right, watch O.J.'s feet. Now, this was set up perfectly because he made the inside move, moved to the outside, used his tremendous speed. But the most important thing is that they didn't use him early. They used Solomon to get the defense a little confused, to make the defense spread out and think about the overall defense rather than just concentrating on the juice.
And now Ray Wersching will try to make it 7-0. Wersching with DeBerg holding. Wersching has kicked 10 out of 11 points so far. The kick is up, the kick is good. And so Ray Wersching makes it 7-0 49ers.
What I like on this is the block of the tight end, Paul Seal. Now, the 2 tight end offense is bothering Atlanta.
7-0 San Francisco.
We're here to remove this dead tree with a Skill Saw brand chainsaw. It's solid state for easy starts, light and controllable, with patented anti-vibration handles and an exclusive inertia chain brake system that works when others won't. Plus, skill, quality, and dependability won't let you down. Skill Saw chainsaws. To do it with confidence, do it with skill. And the exclusive inertia chain brake system that works when others won't.
We're hearing now.
Introducing a whole new breed of Mustang. The all-new 79 Mustang from Ford. With a new aerodynamic design. precise handling, and Mustang performance from options of V6, V8, even a turbocharged engine. Mustang for '79, the new breed in 2-door and 3-door models. Capture one at your Ford dealer now.
San Francisco capitalizing on a fumble on a punt by fielder Billy Rickman, and O.J. Simpson goes in for the touchdown. It's 7-0 San Francisco as Ray Wersching kicks off. Dennis Pearson is deep, and Pearson takes it on his 5, 15, 20, 25, 30, and to the 31-yard line. Hit and drop there by Bob Jury, number 26. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the San Francisco 49ers and the National Football League is prohibited. Well, Atlanta did not make a mistake last week against Detroit, and they have been stung early because of their own mistakes. We'll see if they'll regroup. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 31. Steinbach, the second man on the handoff, and did he ever make a hit on safety man Vern Roberson? You watch a head-on, and Roberson, number 49, is flattened.
As you said, Vinny, we're going to see a head-on. We're going to see Steinbach go in good. The hole is tremendous. Body lean is fantastic. And that teaches George, the defensive man, not to come in that high.
Yeah, Roberson's way too high on it. You got to get in underneath to get leverage. Put your shoulder in there, and you're on defense when you hit like that.
Vern Roberson comes from a family of 16 children, but he's never been run over any harder. Here comes Bean, wide to the right side, dragged down as he got across the 40-yard line, and it was Reese who made the hit. Archie Reese, number 78, and you'll watch Archie get hit in the head.
Yeah. Now let's take a look at Reese. Bubba's going to the outside. Now here it comes. Boom. Got his head in there, but he didn't get his head and his shoulder in the right position. You should not take punishment like that.
What we're getting, Vinny, is both teams establishing the running game, trying to establish the running game before they throw.
Inches to go, and of course for Steve Bartkowski, he's coming home. Bartkowski, 3 years out of the University of California, and in his rookie year, he suffered an elbow injury right here, and that set him back. Then, of course, Steve had a knee injury in 1976 and a knee injury in '77, and they are hoping that he's finally putting it together. He has not thrown an interception in his last 14 quarters.
And Vinny, they used to call him Peachtree.
Peachtree Steve.
He's no longer that.
Bean. And I don't believe Bean made it, although it depends upon where they spot the ball. Jimmy Webb hit him hard, and if he made it, it was inches. He needed only inches. Going to have to measure again. That was 3rd and inches. So they'll take a look. 7-0 San Francisco in the early goings here at Candlestick. They didn't make it. No, sir. So Bubba Bean is slowed down, and Atlanta.
All right, 68. Let his man slip inside of him.
That's R.C. Thielman. He's only a 2-year man out of Arkansas, and his inexperience showed on that play, and it cost the first down. Anthony Leonard goes deep, and John James, one of the premier punters in the league, is averaging over 97 punts a year. So Atlanta really keeps him busy. Gets it away from his own 30-yard line. Anthony Leonard will have to let the ball bounce, and it kicks out at the 25-yard line, where San Francisco will put it in play. 1st and 10 from their own 25. In case you joined us a little late, Billy Rickman muffed a punt. It was recovered by San Francisco. O.J. Simpson scored from 14, and it's San Francisco 7, Atlanta nothing.
When do you sing Budweiser?
Whenever the moment is right for a great beer.
When do you sing Budweiser?
Whenever the good times are moving to right ear.
After the work is done, while you're still having fun, the King of Beers is waiting for your call. When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Blizzard Sock City, Storm Malls Midwest. Get ready for it again during Sears' big National Snow Tire Sale. Save on 4-ply snow tires. Save on belted snow tires. Even Sears' Best Road Handler Ice and Snow Radials. Great snow tires at great preseason prices. Now for a limited time, you can save from 12 to 20%. Don't get stuck without snow tires this winter. Get them now at Sears.
Linda Lavin, Christy McNichol, Max Gale, and Patrick O'Neill.
I want to know where he's sleeping tonight. He's sleeping in the living room.
Like Mom, Like Me, the Sunday movie at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
The San Francisco 49ers with their coach Pete McCulley leading 7-0. McCulley will be 47 in a month. He's the 9th San Francisco head coach since the team was founded in 1946. And on the other side of the field, there's Lehman Bennett. At 40, he was the youngest head coach in the NFL. And he has got a ball club that is one game away from 500, and who knows, a possible wild card. 1st and 10 from the San Francisco 25. Simpson and Boykin, the running back, and it's O.J. And he gets to the 27-yard line, pulling on the play and leading the way. Number 62. That would be Walt Downing, who made the critical block.
All right, now here's something that I'd like to point out to our fans. The Atlanta Falcons are doing something now that they should have done on that first play. They made a good tackle on O.J. Whenever you let a back get loose for 14 yards and a touchdown on the first play, you give him a tremendous amount of confidence. With a back like O.J., that can be death.
2nd and 8 from the San Francisco 27. Simpson and Boykin. McAfee is on the right side, and Seal, the other tight end, on the left side. This time it's Boykin dragged from behind by Merrow and Lewis, and that's the end of that. Jeff Merrow and Mike Lewis hitting him from behind.
Well, I like what they're doing with 2 tight ends. Now, that time it looked like the Falcons slanted to the right side into the play and made it a good defensive maneuver. But I like the fact that they got 2 tight ends in there, and they have to run the ball. They have to protect their quarterback.
3rd and 11 on the San Francisco 24-yard line. This time they shake the tight end loose. DeBerg got a pretty good block from Boykin, but he is still eaten up because coming out of nowhere is that big number 79, Jeff Yates.
Now, even though he got sacked here, this is good football. He's sprinting out. He's getting away from the good Falcon rush, the possibility of a blitz. The only thing he did wrong, he should have unloaded the ball. There wasn't anybody open. Don't take the sack. But that's good offensive football.
Billy Rickman, whose muff set up the San Francisco touchdown. Rickman will go back to his own 40-yard line. Once again, Mike Connell will be doing the punting. And there's Billy Rickman waiting to see if he can't make up for the last bobble.
And Vinny, I'd like to point out that's one of the few mistakes that Rickman has made. He's been really a tremendous asset to this Atlanta team.
Yes, he's handled 9 previous punts, busted one for 38. He had a 52-yard one called back last week against Detroit. So Mike Connell, rookie out of Cincinnati, having to punt from his own 10. Again, it's blocked. And recovered by Rick Bias. Touchdown. Bias came bursting through, and Rick ties it up with a touchdown. Now they need the point after.
This is what the coach always talks about. This is special teams play. The block is tremendous. He took the right position, picked it up on the high bounce, and went in. Tell me about it, George.
Watch the snap. The snap came a little bit to the left, which allowed the outside man to come in with a great technique. Both arms, knock the ball down, get the bounce, and score.
Mazzetti's point after is good, and so on a block punt by Rick Bias, Atlanta has come right back to tie up San Francisco. So what figured to be low scoring is off on a wild note. The Niners 7, the Falcons 7.
that TV show we want to watch goes on in 5 minutes.
America, stop rushing your life away just to catch a TV show. Get a Sony Betamax video recorder and automatically videotape that show while you're doing something else and watch it anytime you want. Sony Betamax. It could change your whole way of life.
Introducing a new American road car. The all-new Ford LTD for $79, with more front seat room, more rear seat room, more window area, and more handling ease than last year's LTD. Plus the power of a V8 engine standard. A road car to take you across town or across the country.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
To test drive the all-new LTD on your own roads, see your Ford dealer today.
Tim Mazzetti ready to kick off for Atlanta. 7-7. With 10 minutes left to go in the first quarter, so we're off to a wild start. Dave Williams is deep. And he's flanked by Farrell and Hofer. And it'll be Williams from the 1-yard line to the 15. And he is dragged down at the last minute by Ray Strong, number 25, who hit him before he could get to the 20-yard line. They'll probably spot it at the 19. So it'll be 1st and 10 for San Francisco. They previously had the ball on their own 25 and went backwards. It was 4th and 17 from the San Francisco 18, and you had the resultant punt block and the touchdown by Rick Byers. So 7-7 with 9:53 to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for San Francisco. The ball is spotted just shy of the San Francisco 20-yard line. Solomon is wide left. McAfee and Seal still the tight end. Simpson and Boykin the running back. DeBerg looking left and throws it on a bounce intended for Freddie Solomon. Pridemore was there to defend.
He had him open too, Vinny. Yeah, he was open. He had time to throw. Good protection. Just threw the ball low down into the ground.
In fact, Atlanta was playing a soft defense that time, George.
You know, Jim, we've had 2 touchdowns scored today. Both of them breaks from the kicking game.
Oh, yes.
There's Robert Pennywell, who once tried out for San Francisco when it was coached by Monty Clark, and they cut him. So he beat Clark last week, and now he wants to beat the whole city today.
I like his attitude, Benny.
2nd and 10 from the San Francisco 20-yard line. DeBerg on a draw to Boykin, but he is hit by Wilson Fomina, fumbled after the Wilson, and Robert Pennywell got a hand in it.
All right, let's watch Pennywell, number 59. He is, now watch his hands, watch his head. No, watch his head. His head knocked that ball out, but unfortunately it was a little too late. Pennywell is seeking revenge today.
Well, he's in a position to do it.
He still can't get over being cut by the 49ers. You claim they didn't really give him a good look. Then he went to Atlanta and left camp because he wasn't ready to play. But when he came back, he sure was, and now he's first string.
Built some character, Vinny.
3rd and 8 from the 22 of San Francisco. DeBerg under some rush by Fomina, and it's Pennywell bust through. Wilson Fomina, number 74, is the guy who really ruined it.
All right, if you want to talk about emotional football, this guy has revenge in his mind. He's fighting through 2 men. He's fighting. He keeps coming. He's coming. Now he drops low. He hits him, and he is responsible for that sack. Emotional football.
Yeah, it helps if no one blocks him either. Nobody picked him up.
Well, it's 4th and 20. And again, now the young kicker, Mike Connell, has to kick out of the end zone. Billy Rickman all alone at midfield. Connell's already had one blocked by Bias. This time it is Strong who leaped in the air but couldn't get it. Rickman will take it in San Francisco territory at the 49. And is he stung immediately by Bob Farrell, number 38.
Benny, there's a picture tackle. I'd put that on a training reel. Nice and low, right at the knees, brings the feet out from underneath them.
A reminder, friends, of CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 Central. The Phoenix 150, the World's Strongest Men competition. Hey, fellas, World's Strongest Men. Jim Brown, who's the strongest player you ever played against?
The late Big Daddy Lipscomb, 300 pounds of speed.
Rest his soul. We'll see some other strong men next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Bartkowski down the left side and makes a completion inside the San Francisco 30-yard line. It's Francis making the reception. Wallace Francis.
This is what we call a fast goal, a slant-in pass. Fairly well thrown, a little bit low and behind, but it's tough to defense again. Unless you jam that outside receiver, there's an alley in there that you can complete the pass on. Billy Kilmer is one of the best at throwing that fast goal.
1st and 10 from the San Francisco 28-yard line. They're coming after Bartkowski, but they give it to Bean. Ed Bradley, one of the linebackers, trying to come through, but they picked him off. Joe Harris finally making the hit.
Speaking of Joe Harris is one of the strongest players I've ever coached. We had him in Washington, and he'll bench press well over 400 pounds, Vinny.
He's number 50 in that San Francisco uniform.
That was a good trade for the 49ers to get Joe Harris.
He spent 2 years in the Canadian Football League.
Good man.
2nd and 9 from the 28-yard line. Bartkowski looking out to the right side and throws it to his tight end Mitchell, who was pushed out of bounds immediately by Chuck Christ. And they'll spot it at the 25. So they picked up about 3, and it'll be 3rd and 6.
Jim, one of the things I've always admired in Jim Mitchell is his ability to run with that football once he catches it.
He's always been a favorite of yours, Coach.
Yes.
They say they're not using him that much in the offense now. I don't understand why.
Boy,
interesting, we mentioned last week about Mitchell. He needs 27 yards for 4,000 in his career, but oddly enough, with all that yardage, he has not caught a touchdown since 1975. 3rd and 6 from the 25-yard line. Bartkowski trying to move his ball club. It's 7-7 with 7 minutes left in the first quarter. And Bartkowski devoured by Cedric Hardman, number 86. Hardman really hammered him.
Watch Joe Harris come around and beat Mitchell's block. Watch him keep coming right here.
And before Harris could get to him, Cedric Hardman, 9 years out of North Texas State, just ate him up. John James, under a great rush by Dave Williams, got the punt out. Strong tried to down it, and he couldn't touch it. So it goes into the San Francisco end zone, and the 49ers will go on the offense. 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line.
Atlanta did something. They went with a quick snap there so they couldn't organize a block.
Atlanta 7, San Francisco 7, 7 left in the first.
Dad, when are we going to get to Grandma's?
Dad, are we going to get to Grandma's?
Darn, I forgot to put in Prestone.
Take out the old, put in the 2. Put in the Prestone, Prestone 2.
Protect against freeze-ups and corrosion. Take out old, weak antifreeze and put in America's most trusted antifreeze, Prestone 2.
Take out the old, put in the 2. Put in the Prestone, Prestone 2.
And when you flush your cooling system, use Prestone Super Flush.
It was a long, hard run, but I finally won. Now it's all behind. Got blue ribbon on my mind. I've got Pabst Blue Ribbon on my mind. More and more lately, I find
the premium taste of Pabst. It's a lot to look forward to.
I've got Pabst Blue Ribbon on my mind.
Next Saturday at 4:30, CBS Sports Spectacular presents the Phoenix 150, which will determine the 1978 USAC driving champion. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
This is Vin Scully, along with George Allen and Jim Brown, with 7 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Atlanta and San Francisco all tied 7-7. And, George, the crowd certainly up a little bit for the 49ers today.
Yes, that opening score gave them a big lift.
1st and 10 for Steve DeBerg and the 49ers on their own 20-yard line. Bob Farrell is the running back, and he got by Brazina and fumbled. It is juggled and recovered by Frank Reed. And Reed is going to be driven out of bounds, but with the football, and he stepped out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. Frank Reed A 3-year man out of Washington playing with a hamstring recovers the fumble by Farrell.
All right, Farrell is running with a lot of determination. He broke that first tackle. He's sprinting out. Now watch that hand. The first hand hit at it. Once again, it was the head.
Yeah.
The head knocked the ball out. You must cover up when you're going to be hit.
Well, he had the ball on the inside arm and the inside where the tackler was coming from.
Great point, George. When you're going outside, you usually put the ball on the outside arm.
Away from the tackler.
Away from the tackler, towards the sideline.
1st and 10 on the San Francisco 12-yard line. And Bartkowski to stand back is covered. And it's going to be recovered by Archie Reese, a rookie out of Clemson for San Francisco.
Now you're seeing what I call sloppy football. You've got to watch the ball. The flip is all right. The back is not looking at the ball. You must get the ball first. Now you must try to recover. You can't run anymore. Just fall on the ball, because if you don't, they're going to be hitting you. They're going to keep the ball alive. Yes, Coach.
Jim, you know, every play is a ball game, and this is what you have a tough time selling your club. That play right there may mean the ball game.
You're absolutely right.
All right, the Niners put it in play. 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Bob Farrell, who fumbled the last time, moves it out to the 33-yard line. So Farrell, atoning for the fumble, picks up about 18.
Well, this is a pick-a-hole play where he gets the defense over pursuing and cuts back. Now, I like his determination. He came back and made some of this on his own. It's sloppy tackling, but he's running hard, trying to make up for the previous play when he fumbled the ball.
1st and 10 on the San Francisco 33-yard line. Out of the I formation, Farrell is the up back, and now O.J. comes up alongside of him. DeBerg looking to his right, throws to Solomon, and Solomon has Lawrence go right over his back. And Frank Reed then hits late, and we'll see if there's a penalty on it. I believe Reed is guilty of the infraction.
Well, they have the 2 tight end offense, and Solomon is the guy that they like to hit. Here's the short out to Solomon, and Atlanta's defensing that. Now here's the late hit coming right in. Good call. Not needed.
You know something, Coach? They might be setting up Solomon with the short ones to try to get that long one later.
Unnecessary roughness, number 28 of the defense. 1st down.
Bob Frederick, the referee, explaining Frank Reed's extra hit. So it is 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 48-yard line. Solomon is on the right side. Seal and McAfee continue in that double tight end setup. It's O.J. Simpson. He has Farrell and Downing blocking, but Atlanta refuses to take the blocks. And Fulton Kuykendall, who's been fighting the flu all week, is there to stack him up.
Now watch very carefully the way that O.J. is going to hit this hole, a non-hole. Watch him carefully. He's looking. He makes a move, but it really isn't a move. Makes a step, but it really isn't a step. Sort of takes a passive attitude when he's hit.
Atlanta's in a 34 defense now.
2nd and a long 8 from the Atlanta 46-yard line. Pitch back to O.J. Farrell blocking for him, and O.J. can't get outside. Pennywell finally made the hit. There's a flag on the play, however. Brazina and Seal met head-on just ahead of the carry, and we'll see if the penalty involved there.
It could be a face mask. Can't tell.
As we watch the Juice there, we can see that that leg is bothering him. You can see that he doesn't have the same confidence because he is taking the blow. The old Juice would never take the blow. You watch his feet, the feet would be much quicker, the cuts would be much quicker.
Well, one penalty against Atlanta, now this one against San Francisco.
Offensive holding, number 85, 2nd down.
We told you that Paul Seal and Greg Brazina were roughing it up, and it's against Paul Seal. He was holding linebacker Greg Brazina.
Paul Seal's out of there now. They have a normal offense. Two wideouts.
2nd and 18 when they put the ball in play on the San Francisco 44-yard line.
That last down, I said they were in a 34 defense, Vinny, but they weren't. They just overshifted, and they substituted linebackers on 2nd and 8.
We have 5 minutes and 7 seconds left to go, and we can duck in a couple of scores for you. A final score: Tampa Bay defeated the Chicago Bears 33-19. A final: the New York Jets 23, St. Louis 10. Final: the Giants 17, Washington 6. 2nd and 18 from the 44. DeBerg, a screen to the left side to Elmo Boyd. Boyd across midfield and knocked out of bounds. He'll go out of bounds at the Atlanta 48-yard line. Wilson Palmina pushed him out.
Yeah, I like this call. It's a quick screen, and watch DeBerg get hit just as he throws the ball. Delivery sack. But it's good offensive football against the Falcons defense, because they're going to be in on you, get rid of the ball quickly. The screen makes them worry about the rush a little bit, cuts down on the pass rush. It's good offensive football.
3rd and 10 from the Atlanta 48. Boyd is wide left, Solomon is wide right. DeBerg looking and going deep down the right side, intended for Solomon. No good. Right there was Roland Lawrence, and a flag on the play.
That time they were in a 34 defense. Good call. Solomon had a chance to catch that ball.
I think you'll catch Bob Farrell in motion, and they're going to call it.
He's got pretty good protection. Solomon could have had that very easily. Well thrown football.
Mike Connell will be kicking, and Billy Rickman is all alone on the Atlanta 10-yard line. We have 4:53 left in the first period, and it's 7-7 Atlanta and San Francisco. Connell, a bad pass from center, bobbles and gets it away, partially blocked, and it gets down to the 30-yard line, still rolling, and he winds up with a pretty good punt after a terrible pass from snap.
Yeah. The first rule is to have a center who can make an accurate snap. Very fortunate to get away with this. You can rough the kicker if the ball bounces. He's a runner now. Lucky break for the 49ers.
So it took a pretty good bounce for the 49ers to finally wind up on the Atlanta 22-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Georgia. Steve Bartkowski trying to move his ball club. He is stand back in Bean. Francis is wide left. Rickman is wide right. And it's going to be Bubba Bean. And he gets out across the 25-yard line. Dan Buns, number 57, came up to make a hit. We might duck in a couple of more scores. A final, and this is something. Buffalo 5, Cincinnati nothing. A field goal and a safety. And a final. Detroit came snarling back, having been shut out last week by Atlanta. They defeated San Diego 31-14. 2nd and 5 on the Atlanta 27-yard line. Stand back, the deep man. Bean is the up back. And here comes Stanback. And Stanback has just about enough for a first down. Cedric Hartman able to pull him down, number 86. But it would appear he made the first down. They're going to measure. In fact, they don't have to measure. He picked it up for sure.
You know,
Stanback who made that carry. Yes, Coach?
I was going to say, the way we're going here, that the team that makes the fewest mistakes will probably win today. We've had so many turnovers, so many mistakes this early going in the ball game.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 33-yard line. Bartkowski looking to his right, guns it to Wallace Francis, and he is belted by Eddie Lewis immediately. Bartkowski so far was 2 for 2. Now he's 3 for 3, but his receiver really paid a price for that one, Wallace Francis.
Well, when you throw a short pass like that, the defense is right on him. He has the angle on him. He's going to put the wood to him. The receiver was at a disadvantage.
2nd and 8. The ball on the 35-yard line of Atlanta. 7-7. 2:48 left to go in the first quarter. Bean slowed down from behind by Archie Reese, number 78. He's the rookie out of Clemson who recovered a fumble earlier.
The 49ers, Vinny, that time were in a 34 defense, 3 linemen, 4 linebackers, and they were faking a dog. They had Bratkowski worried. He was a little bit jumpy on that play.
With the ball on the Atlanta 37-yard line, it's 3rd and about 6. So we'll see Bartkowski's play. Rickman goes wide left, Francis right, and he's going to try and sneak for it, although it might have been a mix-up down there in the line. Let's see Atlanta having center problems.
Well, the center snapped the ball, and Bratkowski wasn't ready. Many times that happens when you call the play on sound. The first sound you hear could not be your offense. It could be the defense yelling, and the center snaps it.
So Atlanta sputtering, and John James will be kicking from his own 25. Anthony Leonard is all alone on his 23 for San Francisco. It's a 4th and 7 from the 38 as you see Anthony Leonard. Greg Brazina will pick up somebody who comes through. And it is partially blocked by Bob Jury. As it goes out of bounds, there's a flag on the play, and I think Bob Jury will be guilty of running into the kicker.
He should have blocked the ball. He was right in there. His technique was wrong. He went in too deep and hit the kicker, hit the punter.
Bob Jury is a rookie out of Pittsburgh, only 23 years old, and he paid for that great charge. And Jury, a very disgusted young man, going to the sideline.
The 49ers are arguing that he got a piece of the ball.
Right, I thought he did.
And if he did, there's no penalty.
I really thought he blocked it.
Let's look at this from the end zone. I thought it was a bad call personally.
Right there. It looked like he got a piece of it.
But the technical point would be if he got a piece, then it's a good situation.
Oh, yeah.
If he didn't get a piece,
here's another angle. Well,
I don't think he did there. He
hard
did not.
to say.
He should have blocked the ball.
Well, we'll wait for Bob Frederick and company now.
The secret of blocking punts is the technique of the man that gets in there.
So that's a big break for Atlanta. They keep the ball. It's an automatic first down. Bob Jury running into the kicker, John James. So Atlanta holds possession. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 42.
Benny, as I said, the team that makes the fewest mistakes is going to win this ball game.
It's really a mess so far.
There's the disadvantage of playing at home. The fans are booing.
Although I really think they're booing the officials and not the 49ers. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 42-yard line. Bartkowski setting up and under some rush and throws it to Bean. Bean to the 45 and is dragged down just about at midfield by Jimmy Webb. And what a great recovery on a busted play.
Great play by Bratkowski. Now the 49ers dogged. And here's his size and strength. He fights them off a little bit and gets rid of it. And shuffles the pass.
Looking at it from the end zone, Bartkowski goes back, makes a good move there, shows great maneuverability. He knew who he was throwing that ball to, so it was a great play.
1st and 10 from the 50, and there goes Bean trying to cut back inside against the grain, and he got down to about the 46-yard line of San Francisco. And this crowd is still booing over the fact that Atlanta had John James roughed up on an attempt by Bob Jury, and that gave the ball back to Atlanta, and the crowd quite upset about that call.
Yeah, it was a good call by the officials.
It'll be 1st and 10. That's just enough for the first down. The ball is on the San Francisco 46-yard line. Drive started on the Atlanta 22, and we have 1 second left to the first quarter, and there's the whistle. So the first quarter is history, and it's not the kind of history that people are going to study. It is very forgettable history here so far. Atlanta 7, San Francisco 7.
I'm not gambling with my safety this winter. I just put a CB from Radio Shack in my car. At only $89, I saved $60. Now, wherever I drive in any kind of weather, I feel safe. This switch is my instant shortcut to emergency channel 9. One of 11 front panel features. Sale priced realistic CB. I wouldn't drive without it. Now just $89. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
Since 1903, there have been more than 2,500 new cars introduced in America. But the best-selling new car ever introduced was this one, Ford Fairmont. Presenting Fairmont 79, again with lots of room for the money, with a great EPA mileage estimate for today's driving, with a range of sticker prices that are surprisingly low, from sedans to wagons to exciting Futura, the best-selling new car ever introduced, Ford Fairmont. Test drive America's success car at your local Ford dealer.
I'll have a natural. You know, the term natural is an appropriate simplification for Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. Sure, because it's simpler. No, because natural, smooth, clean taste results from natural ingredients and slow natural aging. You know, you're very observatory. Here's perfection in the art of brewing, a cultural trait dating back some 8,000 years. Obliviously, you're a man of extinction and dignity. Oh, yeah. Hey, mama. Have a natural.
Just say natural.
Start of the second quarter, 7-7, San Francisco and Atlanta. Atlanta first and 10 on the San Francisco 46-yard line. The game being played at Candlestick Park in San Francisco on the dreaded AstroTurf. Steve Bartkowski has Rickman left and Francis right. Mitchell, the tight end, is on the right side. It's Bean, and he is stacked up right at the 45-yard line.
You know, Vinny, I'd like to make a comment on the way that Bean is running. He makes a lot of moves behind the line of scrimmage, a lot of wasted effort. I think that's a coaching mistake. I think the coaches should tell him to make a move and hit the seams. Don't do all that movement behind the line of scrimmage.
You know, Vinny, you mentioned about the AstroTurf. When we played here 2 years ago, I brought my team in a day early to get used to the field and not be concerned about the field on Sunday.
It's a tough field. 2nd and 8 on the San Francisco 44. Bartkowski with his backs going out, and he pays the price. Going right over the top of him is Dan Bunz. Bunz just went sailing through the air. You can take a look as he took a ride over Bartkowski.
What we got here today is both defenses are dogging and blitzing the quarterbacks a lot. The defense, the offense is not going to be able to pick up some of these dogs. There's going to be a lot of sacks or passes that are thrown in a hurry.
Bartkowski might feel like the sky fell on him. The sky is 6'4", 230-pounder Dan Bunz, who came to San Francisco in that deal with Miami that involved Freddie Solomon and Delvin Williams. 3rd and 14 from the 49. Joe Harris, number 50, grabbed him by the neck and brought him down. A flag on the play.
Okay, looking at this from the end zone, there's one thing I'd like to point out. Bartkowski is not calling the correct plays. He's got time back there. He's trying to throw the ball long, and maybe he should throw the ball short.
Holding, number 53.
You know, Joe Harris is quick and strong, and again, what a trade to get him for, I think they got him for a 10th pick, something like that, Vinny. I don't see how the Redskins could trade a guy like that.
They're missing him, especially today. They knocked off by the Giants. John James gets it away, and Anthony Leonard, a fair catch, backing up, and he'll fair catch it at about the 14-yard line. So San Francisco will take over just to start. 13:44 of the second quarter. Atlanta 7, San Francisco 7.
Sears National Automotive Values.
Sears Steel Belted 30, the tire that gives you bias ply value and double steel belt strength, is now on sale. You save 30% off Sears' regular price.
The trucks are rolling with values on Sears Guardsman 4-ply tires. Everyday low prices start at $18 for new tires for your car. Truck on down to Sears for Guardsman 4-ply values. At Sears.
Now, some of the best movies on television aren't on television. They're on Select-O-Vision, the 4-hour video cassette recorder from RCA. Because now you can buy full-length uncut movies on cassettes. Movies like Pat and Hello, Dolly, and lots more. With Select-O-Vision, you can go to the movies at your house.
Buy now during the RCA Film Festival and get 2 free movies and discount coupons for 5 more.
Hey, nice. Where'd you get it?
Avis Rent-A-Car.
Avis introduces rent-a-cars you wish you owned, like the Chevy Caprice.
I think I'll park it myself.
The Cadillac Sedan DeVille. The Olds Cutlass. Buick Regal. The Pontiac Grand Prix. Rent-a-cars you wish you owned. Avis now features GM cars.
Avis, we don't know another way.
Lehman Bennett trying to get his ball club to the 500 mark. Atlanta 3-4 coming in. San Francisco now puts it in play. 1st and 10 from their 13. Farrell is in there as a running back along with O.J. Simpson, and Bob Farrell going around the right side. Frank Reed had him from the back. Roland Lawrence hit down at the ankles, and that was enough to bring him down as he got across just about to the 20-yard line. Couple of scores. In fact, one more. Kansas City has just defeated Cleveland 17-3.
It's going to be a shakeup in Cleveland.
Looks that way. Pickup of 7, so it is 2nd and 3 from the San Francisco 20-yard line. Solomon is wide right. Now back to the 2 tight ends, McAfee and Seal. O.J. gets away from Frank Reed, but then he runs into Falcons at the 25-yard line. Reed had a shot at him, couldn't make it, but then Roland Lawrence picked it up.
Well, to be very honest on this play, there wasn't very much that the Juice could do. You have the penetration, which is very difficult. When someone penetrates, it makes you bow back. Once you bow back, everybody has a chance to recover. So now once he cuts downfield, there are going to be white shirts coming from everywhere. He did a good thing. He did drop the shoulder and try to get a couple extra yards.
O.J. Simpson, 2nd rusher in NFL history, and numero uno is right here in the booth with us.
Oh, my goodness.
1st and 10 from the 26. DeBerg to Farrell, and Bob Farrell running hard. And you want to see a fella knock backwards, you take a look at Tom Pridemore, number 27. Farrell knocked him back a good yard or 2.
All right, here's an end zone shot. I like the way Farrell's running, and watch him put the wood to Pridemore right here. Putting him right back. He's running hard. He's got 2 hands on the ball. He looks like he's a better back than we've been led to believe.
Bob Farrell is a 3-year man out of UCLA. Never had much of a chance to distinguish himself at UCLA, however. DeBerg looking over the right side and throws low, intended for Ken McAfee. McAfee, the #1 draft choice out of Notre Dame, who is going to the University of Pennsylvania School of Dentistry.
It looked like that ball may have been deflected. There was a hand up. He hesitated. DeBerg hesitated just before he threw. And a short, flat pass like that, you have to throw it immediately. If
you were saying, Coach, he has a great release. What did you mean?
He gets rid of the ball very quickly. I was watching him in the warm-up. He reminded me of Hart of St. Louis to some extent, that he has a very quick release.
2nd and 10 from the San Francisco 37. DeBerg rolling to his right. Pennywell tries to eat him up, but he completes it to Ken McAfee. Not quite enough for the 1st down, but did Robert Pennywell lower the boom on DeBerg?
Here's a delivery hit, a sprint out. Good call. Now watch his quick release. He gets rid of that ball. He gets clobbered.
Pennywell was climbing his tree.
Yes, but it's a great example of the release you were talking about, George.
Yes, Jim.
Well, it'll be 3rd and 2. He picked up 8. So from the 37 to the 45.
A slower release, he'd have been sacked.
Exactly.
3rd and 2. Solomon wide right. McAfee and Seal, the other tight end, is back in there. Farrell and Simpson, the running back. And it's Farrell, and he hits hard for the 1st down. Bob Farrell in college played behind James McAllister and Kermit Johnson. He never got a chance to run like he's doing today.
Farrell is intense today. He really wants to run. He's putting 2 hands on the ball. He's getting his shoulders low, his head is low. George Allen likes the 2 hands on the ball. I don't.
Well, I like two hands on the ball, Jim, when you're being hit, when you're in traffic. I don't like two hands when you're running out in the open.
1st and 10 from the San Francisco 48-yard line. It's still Seal and McAfee with Solomon on the left side. DeBerg under some heat, and he scrambled, pursued by Pennywell, grabbed by McCartney, and a flag on the play, and I think it's going to be against Pennywell. McCartney made the tackle, and then Pennywell rolled over the top, so let's see.
Late hit.
A late hit, perhaps, against Robert Pennywell. A lot of emotion down there today, especially on Pennywell's part. We mentioned earlier San Francisco had cut him after drafting him in '76, and he's trying to repay the favor.
Unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 59. 1st down.
That's Mr. Pennywell's license plate number, 59. There's Scott Bull standing on the sidelines. Pete McCauley. Of course, he worked for you, George.
Yes, Pete's a good coach. Did a fine job in Washington last year. He's a good man. Has a nice family.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 34-yard line. DeBerg to the right side, through behind Freddie Solomon. So somebody messed up.
Had him wide open.
Solomon was about 5 minutes away by phone on that pass.
He's hesitating a little bit. See him hesitate there? That type of pass, it's 1, 2, 3. You got to drill it in there.
It's right now.
We've made a living on that over the years. It's all precision passing.
You mean the Washington team, Coach, right?
Yes, right, Jim.
But talking about two hands on the ball, Coach, you're absolutely right. There's a time for two hands and a time for one hand. But two hands are really for so-so backs. The great backs can use one hand.
That's true.
2nd and 10 from the 34. Elmo Boyd is wide left. Freddie Solomon right. DeBerg to O.J. with Downing out in front of him, and O.J. just runs into too many people. O.J. Simpson, if I might, as great as he is, starting this year with 10,183 yards. But the top runner, Jim Brown, rushed for 12,312. Jim Brown was a rushing champion 3 times, and the list goes on and on.
I was telling Jim this morning, one advantage Jim had, not to take anything away from him, he didn't have to play on fields like this, Jim.
You're absolutely right. I don't think I could have done it, Coach.
Well, I think you could, but boy, it really takes a toll on the legs.
Yes, it does.
3rd and 7 from the Atlanta 31-yard line. A draw to O.J., and there's nobody there to pick him up. And by the time they do, he picks up a bunch, and there's another flag. Ernie Jackson, number 30, made the tackle, but again, they might point a finger at Robert Pennywell.
Looks like a late hit, Vinny.
Yep, another.
The Falcons dogged, and O.J. adjusted. He bounced outside. He read the dog. If he stayed with the hole, he'd have been hit for a loss. He bounced outside, picked up some yards. Now here's the, number 75.
Pennywell was able to leap over him, so he was not involved in it. Here's the call by Bob Frederick.
Unnecessary roughness on the defense, number not reported. 1st down.
In other words, he hit him with an unassumed number.
Must have been 2 or 3 of them.
Yes, it was. It was a group team effort.
There's a big series for the 49ers now.
It sure is. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 14. The drive started on the San Francisco 13. Simpson and Farrell, and it's Farrell. And dragged down immediately by Robert Pennywell, number 59. Boy, he's everywhere.
Okay, that was a little fake step. Pennywell is playing with that intensity. I hate to use the word so much, but he is emotional today and is showing up. He's going to make a few mistakes because of it, but he's probably going to nullify that by his great play. He's everywhere.
Only 23 years old, a 3-year man out of Grambling. 6'1", 222, Robert Pennywell. 2nd and 11 from the 15. A 7-7 tie. 9 minutes to go to the half. DeBerg with his backs going out. Going deep, and it is juggled and dropped by Rick Bias. No good. Freddie Solomon trying to claim that he caught it, but he didn't. It bounced. Freddie, shame on you.
Now, George Allen, this is the kind of play that you're talking about. Every one of these plays can win a ball game. This ball was almost intercepted.
Bad throw, Jim.
Yes, bad throw by the quarterback, but if the ball was intercepted, it would have stopped the drive. Now you don't know what's going to happen. Every play, as you say, Coach, is a big play.
And if you can get your players to realize that, whether it's the first quarter or the fourth quarter, they think, well, we got time, we can recover. Now the 49ers have 2 wideouts.
3rd and 11 from the 15. Rick Bias, who had blocked the punt and scored a touchdown, was the fellow who dropped that apparent interception. DeBerg going over the left side, no good. And there was a mix-up. Ken McAfee, I think, was the intended receiver, but he wasn't ready to receive.
The mental aspect of football can never be overemphasized. That is a mistake. It's a mental mistake. Mental mistakes in football cause you more problem than physical mistakes.
I think it hit him right on top of the helmet because he wasn't set. So Ray Wershing, who has kicked 6 out of 7 field goals out of a hole by Scott Bull, and they will put the ball down at the 23. That makes it a 33-yard field goal attempt.
The Falcons have done a good job of blocking extra points and field goals.
And a fake. Scott Bull is running to the 10, to the 5. He's going to go out of bounds. No. Touchdown for Scott Bull.
Great call. Side of the marker. The Falcons have done a great job of blocking kicks, field goals, punts. The 49ers took advantage of that. They bunched up. They all came down inside, and it's a heck of a call.
So Scott Bull, a 3-year man out of Arkansas, runs it in from the 23-yard line. Ray Wershing's kick is good. And with 8 minutes and 46 seconds to go to the half, it's a wild one, surprisingly. San Francisco 14 and Atlanta 7.